laughs at everyone about it. And each time as I waited, but yet at the same time would see on CNN or the national press conference like what just happened, and they have the full disclosure, and I'm sitting there as a child just eating it up going, oh my God, you know, they're telling us about bases on the dark side of the moon, they're telling us about craft that are beyond comprehension, they're splitting into two parts, they're sucking up jets, they're bringing in all kinds of just crazy ideas and thoughts in my head, and each time all of us are left wanting, left hoping that there's going to be some sort of social consciousness change in this extraterrestrial world. We're all hoping that the world's all of a sudden going to wake up to a new reality, and the humdrum existence that we're being pushed into would somehow collapse and disperse, and we could live in an exciting world that has potential, even the potential of living forever and traveling the stars. But this doesn't happen. The information drips out. It does. They release this over and over again until it's boredom, until humanity is looking at it. In Mexico, oh yeah, there's another UFO. There's no more excitement about it. Governments are releasing all their UFO documents left and right on the internet. And where does it really get us? I mean, I don't know that I've ever read a similar description of a UFO. In all of the UFO research I've done, the craft are just multitude. So many variations, so many thoughts and insights. And then we look at every video footage of it, of these different craft, and you can see hundreds, if not thousands, of UFOs. I have a bunch in that Obama alien invasion video I put on YouTube, which is on autoplay right now for the front page. Craft that can't be described, craft that can't be explained. If you tried to describe some of those ones that I showed, well, the ones that I show right at the beginning with Obama talking look to me to be the closest thing to what I saw with the V-shaped craft in Utah. Now, in reviewing the disclosure conference from Stephen Greer, they mentioned that Area 51 had actually been moved to Utah. So I thought, oh, well, you know, there's my answer, because I certainly did not feel that was an otherworldly craft. And it was identical in description from the craft that they saw in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, one thing that was very curious for me was when I'm filming this craft, and of course none of it came out on film, I'm looking very hard at it, but I'm trying to see. Now, what we saw was a hourglass-shaped light, orange light, in the apex of the V, and then four what appear to be like plasma balls holding up the V shape. And after we witnessed this, and I started reviewing it with my friends, which I filmed their attempt to discuss this craft that had just flown over. I figured if I couldn't get the craft on film, I'd at least get the reaction on film. And my friend's reaction was so curious to me, because they immediately went into debate mode. They immediately tried to explain what they had seen, as if they had someone in the car that was challenging them, as if all three of us didn't just witness the same thing. But in witnessing the same thing, we all had different descriptions. I was trying to tell him, most of us decided that there was actually a craft above the orbs. But what appeared to us was just four orbs with an orangish, hour-shaped glass orb in front. But they had moved so uniformly that we were certain this craft was there, but we couldn't see it. But then once we were done and we started to discuss it, my friend says, well, did you see the little twirly things that were following behind it? And I said, no. And I didn't really believe him when he was telling me about this, because I thought I would have seen it. But I was concentrating on my camera quite a bit, trying to figure out why it's not showing up. The camera's not much good in the dark. But when I listened again to the Phoenix, Arizona descriptions of the craft, they discussed these little twirly craft or orbs that were following in the wake of this V-shaped craft that they saw hovering over their city. When you see what they show in the film clip of the Phoenix or Arizona lights, Phoenix lights, That's not the same thing as the craft. It just isn't the same unless it comes out different in photography. I don't know. So we have this Area 51 right there in Utah, and where is that but Mormonville, right? Right where Joseph Smith went to set up his extraterrestrial cult and bring about the occult nature of the extraterrestrial connections. Battlestar Galactica is the Mormon creation myth. That is the Mormon story. There's so much to this story. I wonder if we'll be able to cover it all tonight. There'll be more free zones. Maybe we found that rocket propulsion is not the way to travel the universe. Maybe it's a little more esoteric and anti-material than we originally thought. So we're looking forward to the STS-134, the Shuttle Endeavour. It's getting ready to send up the AMS, or the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer. It'll be the 133rd flight of NASA. But now, this also being the last of the space shuttle missions, unless Atlantis rises again, which they have threatened. What's being described as one of the most complex space scientific instruments ever built is on its way to the International Space Station to seek out the dark universe. So perhaps as the television came into creation through their esoteric attempts at making the other unseen seen, and you know that television, the cathode ray tube, actually came through occult experiments to try and contact the other side and make it visible. Now we seek the anti-universe, or the dark universe. This $2 billion alpha magnetic spectrometer coming from CERN arrived